September 28th, 2025, 6:34 p.m. The air defense screens across Russia's western border flashed red in unison. Kursk, Belgorod, Bryansk. 3 oblasts under simultaneous assault. It was a nightmare perfectly timed to overload every radar, operator, and every sense of control. Behind that maelstrom, 2 M142 HIMARS batteries waited north of Kharkiv, hidden behind civilian settlements. From their launchers, the catastrophe began. Dozens of drones surged into Russian airspace, flooding the skies with noise and confusion. But this was only a deception so intricate that even Moscow's top generals wouldn't understand what hit them until it was far too late. They came fast and low. UJ-26 Bober ERS and Sheila 400 long-range drones, each carrying up to 50 kilograms of explosive. Within seconds, Russia's Panzer S-1 and Tor-M 2 batteries locked on. The sky lit up with missile trails, tracer arcs, and bursts of anti-aircraft fire. Operators called out hits, each interception logged as another victory. It looked perfect for a moment. Then suddenly, the airspace seemed sealed. Inside the command centers, the screens showed nothing but falling wreckage. The system had performed exactly as designed. However, that sense of control was a thin, deliberate, and deadly curtain. What they didn't see was that this was only Act 1 of a far dangerous plan. While every radar chased noise and flashes across the horizon, the actual threat wasn't flying through their defense. It was falling from above them. Hidden in orbital silence, the true strike was already inbound, waiting for the exact moment their attention broke. At 6:41 p.m., 6 new objects appeared on Belgorod's radar. They weren't drones. Their trajectories came almost vertical, diving from the upper atmosphere at more than twice the speed of sound. The control room froze for a moment. Those were M31 GMLRS rockets, fired from Ukrainian HIMARS batteries north of Kharkiv. The commander didn't hesitate to order, "Activate S-400." The gravestone radar powered up with an electronic hum, locking onto all 6 targets. Within seconds, 648 N-6DM interceptor missiles tore into the sky at Mach 6. A minute later, the night flashed white. 6 distant detonations echoed high above the clouds. The room erupted in cheers. "Direct hits! All targets destroyed," one operator shouted. For the Russians, it was a triumph. The first successful defense against a coordinated saturation strike. However, hundreds of kilometers away, deep under Ukrainian soil, nobody was disappointed. Around a dimly lit table, officers smiled quietly, because they knew that their decoys had done their job. The missiles hadn't been meant to hit anything at all. They had been designed to make the S-400 show itself, to make it speak, and to reveal its signature to waiting satellites and signal trackers. The hunt had just begun. Hours earlier, while Russia was still congratulating itself, Ukraine had already set the board. Hundreds of drones had launched toward 8 different regions, including Kursk, Bryansk, Belgorod, Tula, Yaroslavl, Rostov, Novgorod, and Samara. It was one of the largest UAV offensives ever executed. This swarm was built to deceive. Every drone in the air encouraged Russian air defenses to fire, reload, and expose their radar frequencies. Each missile they launched was a wasted round. Thus, each interception drained their readiness. While the Russian Ministry of Defense announced victory after victory, the actual objective lay inside Belgorod Oblast, just 90 kilometers from Kharkiv. It was the Belgorodskaya TETS thermal power plant, the energy heart that powered radar arrays, communication hubs, and factories supplying Russia's 20th Guards Combined Arms Army. Taking out that facility wouldn't just knock out the lights. It would cripple the backbone of an entire regional war machine. Ukrainian intelligence had marked it weeks earlier, waiting for this exact opening. In a bunker beneath eastern Ukraine, an electronic warfare officer leaned toward his screen. The S-400 radar had fired, and its location was confirmed. Its signal frequency, strength, and coordinates were locked. "Send the second salvo," he said. "Fire at will." Those first HIMARS rockets the Russians had intercepted were never meant to hit. They were bait. Expensive, yes, but built to make the S-400 reveal itself. Its radar sweep gave away everything Ukraine needed. The data was transmitted instantly to another HIMARS battery waiting far from the first. 6 more rockets armed with warheads were prepared to launch. At 6:46 p.m., the order came through. The second salvo was fired. In Russian command centers, the sense of victory turned cold. New trails appeared on the radar, dropping fast. Officers scrambled to bring the S-400 back online, but the system was reloading and blind for several seconds after its last engagement. Those seconds were fatal. Ukraine had forced Russia's most advanced defense to reveal its position, its weakness, and its timing. The trap had closed. 6:47 p.m. The second salvo was already crossing the border, programmed to strike with meter-level precision. In the Russian command center, panic replaced pride. The S-400 radar was offline, caught in its recalibration cycle. No one spoke for several seconds. Meanwhile, the skies over Belgorod filled with confusion. Panzer and Tor batteries were still busy chasing the endless stream of drones. Each operator was convinced that they were fighting the main attack. None of them could realize that the threat was diving straight past them. On one of the consoles, an officer shouted for confirmation. Before the reply came, a UJ-26 Bober appeared on the radar. It had been flying low, quiet, unseen. It was the S-400's command vehicle. The missile defenses had gotten absolutely no time to react. The Bober struck first. Its 40-kilogram warhead turned the radar's control center into a crater. The only system capable of intercepting the incoming HIMARS strike went dark. Now, 6 guided rockets were falling through open sky toward Belgorod's power heart, and there was nothing left to stop them. If you were in that command center, would you fire blind or hold and pray the radar comes back online in time? Let us know in the comments. 6:47 p.m. The second HIMARS salvo reached Belgorod. 6 guided rockets dove almost vertically. In total, they carried 5 40-kilogram warheads, enough to tear through reinforced steel. The first hit the transformer yard. The second broke the main switch station. In seconds, arcs of blue-white electricity ripped through the air, fusing copper and melting insulation. The Belgorodskaya TET's thermal power plant, once the heartbeat of the region, went silent. The blackout spread faster than fire. Air defense grids across Belgorod, Kursk, and Bryansk lost radar input. S-300 and S-400 systems froze mid-cycle. Command centers went dark, their monitors flickering out one by one. Railway networks stalled. Trains full of fuel and ammunition are locked in place. Traffic lights failed, and water pumps stopped. Belgorod, a city of 500,000, became a shadow within minutes. At 7:07 p.m., the truth reached Moscow. Belgorod's governor broke the silence on live television. "There has been an attack on critical infrastructure," he said in an unsteady voice. The Kremlin called it sabotage, while civilians knew better. The fire on the horizon said everything. The civilian toll began within the hour. Powerless elevators trapped residents in high-rises. Gas stations ran dry within minutes as thousands lined up for generator fuel. Shops reverted to cash transactions. ATMs went dark. With water pumps offline, supply pressure dropped across the city. Hospitals switched to backup generators, rationing electricity to operating rooms and ventilators. Ukraine's precision strike rewired the war. It pushed the Kremlin to pull critical air defenses back from the front by exposing Russia's vulnerability inside its own borders. S-400 and Panzer batteries were redeployed from occupied territories to defend cities like Belgorod and Kursk. Each repositioned system left new openings for Ukrainian drones and cruise missiles. By midnight, Belgorod's blackout was a paralysis by design. Every megawatt lost carved through a different layer of Russia's war machine. The power that once rotated the S-400 radar dishes stopped cold. Satellite terminals went dark, breaking encrypted links between regional and frontline command posts. Electronic warfare units that depended on constant voltage for signal calibration dropped offline within minutes. Farther down the chain, the same current that fed radar grids also powered the railway network. When those circuits died, signaling collapsed, switches locked, and locomotives froze where they stood. Hundreds of wagons sat on silent tracks, each one holding supplies that would never reach Donbass. Industrial plants joined the grid failure in sequence, while ammunition presses stopped mid-stroke. Automated lathes, machining tank barrels powered down. Even communication hubs in Kursk and Bryansk went blind. Generators kept hospitals and command shelters alive, but they couldn't feed radar motors or long-range transmitters. The front line's eyes and ears went dark together. In a single hour, power loss became command loss, and command loss became strategic collapse. Moscow could protect its territory or its army, but not both. This was no longer a war of borders. It was a war of endurance, fought with intelligence and nerve. That night proved that no defense is absolute. Share this with someone who'd never imagine a blackout could break an army, and subscribe before the next flash writes another page of this war.